Welcome back to the Isn't That Rich podcast. Today we are talking about getting rid of clutter in your life. Ashley and I are here, and we actually learned that there are ways that you can avoid some of the clutter. I'm talking about unwanted emails, unsolicited telemarketing calls, all of those things that inundate our lives every day that we just don't need. And so we've come up with some ways that you can unsubscribe.
Yeah.
And get rid of some of the clutter in your life.
Yeah. Because who wants these? I hate telemarketer calls and I hate these emails. And even throughout this episode, you'll learn that you can opt out of some catalogs, junk mail. I would just say a lot of it's junk. Mm-hmm. And we actually learned about these. Today we're going to be talking about opting out.
Yes, it's all about opting out.
It's all about opting out. And I think this is definitely a form of fraud prevention, which is why we're talking about it today. We learned this through Marsha Griffin. She works for the Attorney General's office, and she is great. She came to our fraud defense seminars, and she had so many resources about how to protect yourself from fraud. And like one of the major ones is opting out of stuff. And then not only opting out of stuff, but we're going to talk to you today about how to report a lot of these calls, these emails. And Jill and I have actually taken a few steps on some of them and done them, and they've worked. So I'm excited to talk about this today and just like share the websites, the resources.
Yeah. This is going to be one of those episodes. It's going to give a lot of how to do things. So it might be one you want to stop and pause and take action. Mm-hmm. So we'll kind of go over exact steps for you to take and break it down for you and rewind it, listen it again if you need some of those steps or resources, but it's going to be a really detailed one. Mm-hmm. So let's get into it. So I would say one of the first things that people find incredibly annoying are spam emails. And if you go to your spam folder, you're like, how did you even get my email? Yes.
And it's through the dark web for sure. But
it's through the dark web or places you might not even realize your email is. I know for me, one of the places that I listed my email and I took it off recently was LinkedIn. I was getting all these people reaching out to me on LinkedIn or through LinkedIn. That's
probably mine is too, and I don't even realize it's a thing. I don't even use LinkedIn anymore. So
yeah, I have been the same way, but I'm getting emails from every direction, and I can't even decipher what is real or what's not real anymore. I mean, I probably get rid of more emails that I shouldn't, that I actually am supposed to. That might be legitimate. But I feel like that they're spam. And so it's getting to the point where I can't even tell what is what anymore because there's so much information coming at me from all directions, especially through my email.
Yeah. So a lot of these spam emails can look like phishing emails. So trying to get information. They could be too good to be true offers. And then just unsolicited promotions. So things that you just didn't sign up for that you're like, no, I'm tired of the 10% off stuff. Like I did not sign up for this website. I don't want this as a spam.
Or like people marketing you things like, oh, our product would be really good for your marketing business. Yeah. We get those emails all the time. I'm like, why am I getting this? And it's probably because, like you said, our information's either somewhere we don't know it is or it's on the dark web.
Yeah. So if these are some emails, if you like them, I guess don't do this. If you want to keep the spam emails, keep them. But if you do not want some spam emails anymore, you can forward these emails to spam, SPAM, at UCE.gov, and then just forward it off. And so this will go to the Federal Trade Commission, and this is their way of combating scammers. I think it's great. So a lot of the times, and you're going to hear us talk about this episode, is like a lot of people want to interact with like some fraud stuff, and we have been learning recently, like that's a no-go. Yeah. I don't like, you may think it's funny to like mess with fraudsters and stuff, but you are way safer if you just forward this on to that website or that email address I just read.
Yeah.
And let them take care of it. Because once you're on a list for the Federal Trade Commission, like it is illegal to solicit to you is what we found out. And I think that's great.
Yeah, I agree. And I even think about sometimes emails have hidden links in them. So, you try to go to unsubscribe or you do these things. Well, all of a sudden I'm getting 10 more emails that I didn't subscribe
to. Did I opt into something?
Right. Did I put my email somewhere again, or did they sell it off to somebody else? So you're literally putting your email in another link or clicking links. So the best thing is not to interact with these emails. Forward it on to the FTC, which is at that spam@uce.gov, and be done with them.
Yeah. And I need to do this.
So that's the first.
Spam emails.
I know spam emails are like my number one headache. It's a goal of mine to have like an inbox zero. I have a long way to go from that, but like, wouldn't it be wonderful, especially like after this couple of weeks, we've gotten so many emails around the holidays, Black Friday, all of these sales. It's like, I do not want any of this anymore.
Yeah.
Except for the My FSB newsletter.
Yeah. And I feel like email, email primarily I would say is used for like really important matters.
Yes.
It's for your work. It's for business. And so keeping that clutter-free is what everybody wants. And I'm sure this is not a foolproof plan, but it is a start for getting rid of a lot of spam mail.
Well, it's something I didn't even know was an option.
Yeah.
So forwarding that email on to that is a big deal.
And I would say email is probably, at least what I think, email is probably the scariest place that you can get frauded in, especially clicking links and stuff. People can take over. I know it sounds crazy. People can take over your screen, your computer, get into all of your stuff, put private files on your email. I would be locking that thing down.
One thing that we learned through our fraud defense seminars too is that people can log into you, like they can, record you typing in your password on your computer and then wait around and see the emails that you're sending back and forth, wait till important information like a wiring instruction comes through, and then they trick you into sending money somewhere that it shouldn't be sent. So just know that there could be people lurking in your email. Change your passwords often.
Yes.
So opting out of emails.
Opting
number
out
one.
Of emails, yeah. Next one, Jill, opting out of
Telemarketer calls.
Yeah.
Ooh, the most annoying thing.
But people think they're so fun.
I know.
You talk about your dad.
Okay, so my dad is an old farmer, has our home phone still, and the thing rings only if it's a telemarketer. And so my dad thinks it's funny to like mess with these telemarketers. But we learned again from our fraud defense seminar from Marsha Griffin that we should not interact at all with telemarketers. So a lot of times they're recording your voice to capture you saying specific words that they can then use against you.
Right.
So maybe they catch you saying yes to something. They'll record that yes and have it say yes to something you're not approving, whether it's a credit card offer or do you approve this transaction or whatever it might be. The more you interact, the more opportunity they have to use your voice against you. So if you see a phone number you do not recognize, do not answer it. Let it go to voicemail. If it's important, they will leave a voicemail. Besides not interacting with these unwanted or unsolicited phone calls, there is something that you can get your number on. And we actually both went and did this.
It was so easy. The do not call registry.
Yes.
National do not call registry.
So remember, this used to be like kind of a joke. We're like, yeah, you can get on the do not call list, but it doesn't actually work.
Oh, is that for real?
Yes. So this was like probably before you were born, but like in the 1990s, right? You could get on the do not call list, or you would have your phone number unlisted on the phone book so nobody could call you, right? So you'd look in the phone book and your number, you'd look for Jill Franks and her number's not on there. She's on the do not call list, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, and then in what year
2004.
was it? 2004, the do not call list really got some teeth or so. And so the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, really began enforcing it. So making it illegal for telemarketers to call the numbers.
Yeah, if you're on this list, it's illegal for them to call you.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of a two-part thing. We're going to be talking about how to get yourself on that list and then what to do if people are calling you and how to report them. Yeah, we did this. It was really easy.
Yes.
All you have to do is go to www.donotcall.gov. www.donotcall.gov.
That's the website.
And I think you have to make an account, right?
So it was kind of tricky. You would go in there and there were three options. One was register your phone. And it felt, so I'm skeptical of every single website now after all this fraud
government
training.
Websites, I'm like, someone made a fake government website.
Yeah, this could be like a scam of a real website, right? No, but this is a legitimate do not call list registry.
Yep.
So you click on it, click register a phone number, and you enter your phone number and address, email address, and you'll get a confirmation email and then you have to take action from that confirmation email. So you'll have to click a link to confirm your registration, and it'll walk you through the steps, and it'll ask you a couple of really personal questions. You have to answer them correctly, and you can register your phone number. I registered my phone number, and I secretly registered my dad's home phone number.
Oh,
yeah.
Not a secret anymore.
Not a secret anymore, but he answers, and hopefully in 30 days after I did this, he'll stop receiving those phone calls because
it's really funny we're talking about this because I would say recently, like since we've done it, and it does take about 31 days for this to like kick in, but I have not been getting any calls, but I did get one yesterday. And so now that we're talking to the state, it's reminding me to report it.
Yeah.
And so, I want to talk a little bit. You can also call 1-888-382-1222. And go directly there to register if you are someone that doesn't want to get on the internet.
Yeah, some people don't want to mess with that. I get it. Like they're
probably the ones getting like more calls. So yes, rewind this episode if you would like to call that.
Yeah.
But if you get these calls and you are still on this list, Marsha talked a lot about like reporting these calls is a big deal. It's just another way to fight fraud, getting these people. Because they can get fined. I mean, some of these telemarketer companies have gotten like $1 million lawsuits after them because they're calling people. So I'm excited that we're kind of sharing this word to get more people on this list. But you can go to the donotcall.gov again and then click report unwanted calls. Yeah. And then all you would do is basically just put the number in there that they called you from and you report it, and then the FTC can take actions against those offenders if these places are being reported. So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. Just remember, don't engage with any of these people calling you and report any of the violations that you're seeing. The most important thing is to report it because taking action against these people is the only way we can ever stop it. So,
yeah. And I would say too, like not to tell people not to answer the phone, but like I usually don't. If I don't have your number, I'm not going to answer the phone. Leave me a voicemail.
Do you know what's so funny is I know you've all seen these memes out there. It's like me in 2004, I had a ringback tone for every single person on my like top 10 phone numbers. And I would have like a different song and I would actually spend money to have a ringtone. Oh yeah. But now if my phone ever rings, I literally die.
I'm like, why?
Who's calling me? Like, why is my phone making noise? It should be on vibrate. So like, it's seriously has changed so much. Like I just do not answer unless I recognize the phone number.
Yeah.
So funny. I actually had somebody try to stay at my Airbnb and they kept calling me from an unknown number and I just kept ignoring it and they wouldn't leave me a message and I was like,
but they were legit. It was kind of funny.
I know. I was like, Ashley, I don't know what to do. I can't get a hold of this person now. But anyway.
I'm weak. So we've opted out of emails and we've opted out of the phone. But the next big thing, and I get these all the time.
Oh, they make me so mad.
And they fill up your mailbox are these pre-screened credit card offers and other offers. I would say the credit cards are like the biggest deal. And we had a conversation about this, how this is, I can't even believe this is legal.
I know. It actually kind of drives me nuts. And I think that there should be a bit more action against this because I think it shouldn't even be illegal for this to happen.
Right. So you open your mail, you get this beautiful marketing pamphlet with a fake little credit card in it that says you've been pre-approved.
Yeah.
Which really is code for we've done a soft pull on your credit. You're on our list and we want you to use our credit card so we can loan out money to you. And if you don't know how to use a credit card, well, we don't care. We're going to make money off of you. Not that everyone doesn't know how to use a credit card. But
I didn't for a long time. I would use it.
I don't think a lot of people do.
Not in the correct way. Yeah. And they're tempting. It's like, we were talking about this before the show and it was like, if I get something that says pre-approved, it feels like it's a good thing. Yes. Like I am approved for something. I must have good enough credit or maybe I need more, I can raise my credit limit on this credit card.
Like I get another credit card. Like I have another way to pay when really it's like, yikes.
Yes. And so that's not always a good thing to take action on. So if you no longer want to be receiving these offers in the mail, there's a way for you to stop it. Mm-hmm. And we can go through the steps. It's good news. You can opt out of these permanently or for a period of time. So there are 2 periods of time that you can opt out of these offers. You can do it for a short period, which is a 5-year opt-out period, or you can permanently opt out of receiving any of these offers, which I think, why would you not want to permanently opt out of that? Because you also don't want people intercepting your mail. I mean, people are committing mail fraud. They could get your credit card pre-approval offer, without your knowledge, sign up for it, and then all of a sudden they're running around with a credit card. They might change the address, whatever, once they open the card. So, I mean, I think permanently opting out is the best option. How do you do that, Ashley?
So really easy. Website again, go to www.optoutprescreen.com. Optoutprescreen.com. From there, you're going to click here to opt out or opt in, which I think it's funny you can opt in for these things. But I guess like if you opted out, maybe you're like, I need the credit card offers. I don't know. I can't imagine anybody wanting those. But you'll enter your personal information, name, address, social security number, date of birth. And sometimes I get like, when something's asking for your social security number, I mean, always be...
Yeah, you have to be cautious.
Pay attention, be cautious, but this is legit. Yeah. The site is secure. And then choose your preferred opt-out option. So you can do the 5-year, like Jill said, or the permanent.
Right.
Once you've selected these options, you'll need to print the form provided, sign it, and mail it to the address listed.
Isn't that crazy? So to permanently opt out, you actually have to physically mail something to verify. Which I think, I mean, if I'm opting out, they should just take it. But I guess you want dual verification, making sure you're actually doing what you say. So
gosh, hope your mail gets there.
I know.
Goodness.
I know. But definitely permanently opt out. I'm going to mail that in and sign it, actually.
I'm going to do all of these.
Yeah. You can also do it by phone by calling
Would you like me to read the number?
You're really good at it. So go ahead.
1-888-567-8688.
And so you'll just follow the prompts to opt out of receiving
I wonder
credit
if
card offers.
What if the phone call one's like actually easier to call?
I bet it probably is. Maybe you don't have to.
We should try and just be like, take me off this list, please.
Yes. I feel like it's super easy to do.
Yeah.
And why not just take a few minutes to opt out of that? Getting those credit card offers, it's more secure for you.
Also, like if you are someone that signs up for all these credit cards because they get sent to you in the mail, this is probably help you out with not getting into like some credit card trouble.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you feel like you're tempted by some credit cards, get on www.optoutprescreen.com.
So what happens after you opt out of this? I know, like we said, for the mail, it takes like 31 days. What happens after you opt out of this,
So with
Ashley?
the credit card ones, it's actually a little different. For email offers on credit cards, it's going to be about 5 to 7 days. And then it's actually 60 days.
60 days to not receive mail.
Physical mail.
Okay.
So you may still get some for the next 2 months, but after that, kind of check it out, see if you're noticing anything.
Yeah. One thing we wanted to point out too is this does not affect your credit or applying for credit. So if you choose to go apply for a credit card, like you seek it out, you're not going to be stopped from getting great credit card offers because you're on this. Like you will
you can still use your credit.
Yeah, you can still do all of that.
It's not like a credit freeze.
Right.
Those are 2 totally different things. So don't think that you're freezing your credit doing this. You are simply like protecting yourself from
getting rid of the
prescreened offers. Just annoying clutter in your mailbox and in your email mailbox.
And if you change your mind, like we said, there is an opt back in option. I mean, again, I don't know why you would want to do that, but you can call or visit that site. So,
So this last one that we're going to talk about, I think it's so funny.
Yeah.
Catalogs and junk physical mail is so funny to me, but you cannot, and you're like, how did you get my address?
Yes.
But I think about all of the websites like we have shopped on and you wonder why you're getting all these catalogs. Well, some of them you may like, because it may be a business you love. Like, I don't know, think about the Grandin Road or the Ballard Design.
I love that Restoration Hardware just to look at it once a year when it comes out.
We're like, we'll welcome this in, but there's some that you're just like, oh my goodness.
Or you're getting 6 of them for some reason. I'm like, why am I getting
so many magazines? Such a waste for the environment.
Yes.
And also it's just clutter in your mailbox. And so there is a way to get rid of this junk mail. And that is through a website called Direct Marketing Association's Mail Preference Service. And the website for that is www.dmachoice.org. And you have to create an account. And we went on there to create an account yesterday because I feel like you get like so many catalogs out.
Well, I literally the other day, my mailbox, it has a door on both sides of it, and literally was filled with catalogs, and it was just busting at the seams. So both doors are like wide open. I'm like, I hope I didn't get any checks or anything important.
Got a mailbox yet, Jill.
I know, seriously, I need to opt out of these magazines. But I get so much junk mail that I definitely need to do this. And the thing about this one is it actually does cost you money to opt out of these catalog services, which I think is crazy, but again, I would probably pay for that service. So it's a one-time $5 fee is what we found out yesterday by going and actually doing this.
If you aren't getting a lot of catalogs though, like let's just say you're getting a couple, you can always contact that company directly and say, please unsubscribe me, please opt me out, and they will do it.
Yeah. Yeah. But for the retail, you can actually, for this website that Ashley mentioned, you can go on there and specifically request the actual catalog. So say you don't want that Grandin Road catalog, you can click the Grandin Road one and it will specifically send an email opting you out for that service. So they do the work behind the scenes for you to opt out rather than you having to contact the retailer directly to opt out, which is kind of a nice service.
Yeah. So there's that one. And then there's also one called Paper Karma. And this one's subscription services are a little different. So that one, the DMA choice, that's the $5 one-time fee. But Paper Karma has a monthly subscription of $3.99, an annual subscription of $24.99, and a lifetime plan of $49.99. And this is just another place where you can opt out of unwanted catalogs, and they'll get it done for you.
Which is kind of nice. I think the process for this one is you literally take a picture of the unwanted catalog label on the back. You know, it has your address and the catalog's address. Take a picture, send it to Paper Karma, and then it contacts the company and removes you from it. So it sounds super simple, and anytime you're getting one, so you just take that picture and send it. So easy. Yeah.
So those are the 4 ways to opt out. So email, telemarketers, catalogs, and credit card offers.
Yeah. Super.
Oh my gosh. So annoying.
I know. But
so much noise.
We have so much noise. I mean, think about all the ways you're being advertised to. It's not only, through these things, but online, the billboards, just everything is sending you some kind of advertising message, whether you recognize it or not. So if you can free your life up from some of this junk mail, it will just be so much quieter for you. So
I was just going to say, we've got some tips. For some other things. So like when you're shopping online, and like, they get your email different ways, obviously. I think one of the ways, it's not a bad way that they're getting your email, but a lot of these people, these companies are just trying to market to you. Yes. I mean, we're marketers, like we get it. And so we're always trying to capture people's information. But if you don't want people to capture information, one way to do it when you're shopping online is to look at the marketing preference checkbox. And I know that you always get those, like when you're checking out, sometimes it kind of feels like it's mandatory to be like, yes, I want these, but you can uncheck those boxes and they're not allowed to solicit to you.
A lot of times they're already pre-opting in for you. So that checkbox will already be filled in. Just remember to unclick it before you check out. That helps a lot.
I usually do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss it though.
Yeah. So some easy things to do, 4 simple things to do today. You can take action on to reduce that clutter, reduce the noise, and hopefully starting fresh into the new year, you'll be a lot less marketed to and only be receiving the things you do want to be receiving.
Yeah. Like you want to receive our newsletter.
Yeah.
That you can subscribe to on our website, www.myfsb.com. I'm like really rolling it out with all these websites and phone numbers today, aren't I?
I know it, Ashley. I love it.
So funny. Well, thank you all for listening, and we hope you apply these principles that we have shared today. We will see you next week.
See you next week.
So, Jill, where do we go from here?
Be sure to check out our show notes for this episode, and also be sure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our newsletter. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.